Welcome to Out for the Count TV. Today we're in Sheffield for Gbm'S Coming of Age, and I'm delighted to be joined by the voice of British boxing, Adam Smith. Adam, how are you feeling today?
I'm really good, thank you, and thanks for asking. It's exciting to be here at Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. I'm a Liverpool fan. We're not too good last night, but it's nice to be. I love football, so it's nice to be here. We were here when Kell Brook had that big fight with Errol Spence, of course, and now I'm standing alongside a guy who I think is going to be a big success in boxing. Izzy Asif. I'm really glad to be working with him at GBM. The staff are fantastic. They've got real intentions. They're putting on amazing shows with great atmosphere. Huge signings now with Shaq Thompson and Kieran Malloy and Tieran Bradley. It's just fantastic time, and we talked off camera about your work in the NHS. I'm very grateful to my doctors who've got me to this position. I was very, very lucky last year. Had serious bladder cancer, and it's just really nice to be healthy, to be back, and I'm very grateful for every day now that I have with my family, and I'm back in this sport that I love. So yeah, I'm back to help athletes out. I'm working with Summit Sports as well, helping young sportsmen and sportswomen, and helping Izzy hopefully sort of navigate his way through the very difficult boxing path. But he's got it, I think. He's enthusiastic, passionate, he's smart, he's real, he says it as it is, he's straight. I'm really enjoying my early time with GBM, and long may it continue.
And obviously GBM have made some brilliant progress over the last few years. It gets said every time, but each card seems to get better and better. How impressed have you been with the whole journey of GBM and Izzy Asif?
Yeah, I first met Izzy many years ago, maybe through Johnny, or I can't remember, maybe up here. But he said to me, "You've got to come to a show." And it was very early on, and I was almost like, yeah, okay, I'm pretty big, there's a lot of shows out there. Izzy's like, no, it's different. And then people started telling me how different Izzy's shows were. And then when I was a bit better, and not quite 100%, but I did an event with Johnny, and Izzy came up to me and said, "How do you fancy commentating on one of my shows?" And no one had asked me to, and I wasn't sure if I really wanted to come back, and I thought, okay, you know what, I love the young prospects, and let's go and have a look. But it was anything but just young prospects. There was 50-50 fights. There was excitement from start to finish. The crowd was brilliant here in Sheffield. It was terrific, and I loved it. And I said to Izzy, maybe we should talk a little bit deeper about it, and so we did, and we came up with a strategy, and we thought, let's work together. He said he knew first time he saw me properly that we'd work together, and I'm really pleased. I'm working with him. It's been great fun. This is my first full fight week, and I've just been very, very impressed with the shows. Standing next to Arlo, our new heavyweight, and there's some big signings and big happenings, and I keep saying to him, stay in your lane. He's very respectful for the Eddies, for the Franks, for the Bens, for the Callers. He's doing his own thing, and I like that, and I think he's got a real chance of making a massive success of what is a very difficult world to be in. But GBM Sports, I think, are going to go from strength to strength, and it's all about the shows, and it's all about learning from mistakes of previous shows and putting on better stuff and making it more entertaining and making people come back. And now we're on a bit of a road show, right? We're going down to London at the end of May. We're off to the Midlands, and it's probably Ireland. So we're on a drive now, and I'm glad I've jumped on the train at the right time.
It's been about a month now since it was announced that you'd be taking up the role. Is it Director of Broadcasting? What does that role entail then, Adam?
I don't really know what any role entails. It just when I'm in something, I'm sort of all in. So no, I think what it is, I'm basically obviously here for my experience in media. I was at Sky for nearly 30 years. Obviously, I know a lot about that television side of it. So it's the media platforms, and we're on TalkSport, YouTube, and I guess it's tying those things up. It's commentating as well, alongside Spencer Oliver on the nights, and it's also working behind the scenes with Izzy, with Al Siesta, with Mitch Costello, with the team. I think there's a lot of experience, and there's a lot of great youth in there, some fantastic social content coming out. So I'm really impressed with the whole team. It's not just Izzy. I think it's going to be a role which is going to evolve. Mainly to be in front of you guys, to help with the broadcasting side of it, to help push GBM, but also to sit I always say to the guys, you know, the engine room, down in the bowels of the business, you know, right there where the sort of real intelligence is, and try and sort of advise them a little bit on the strategy on where to go and who to sign and those sort of things. But yeah, for me, I want to work on the front line with the fighters, pushing Shaq Thompson, pushing Kieran Malloy, who I really like, pushing Tyron Bradley, all of them, to bigger and better things, and helping them live their dreams and tell their stories, and giving back some knowledge I picked up over the years, and you know, really helping. I just really enjoyed the Sky Scholars when I was at Sky. I mentored Savannah Marshall. I mentored a tennis player called Daniel Altmaier. Really loved it, and want to do more of that with Summit Sports and with GBM. So excited about what lies ahead, but also I've got to look after my health too.
And you know, just to talk about this card today, you've got Shaquille Thompson headlining in his hometown for not one but two titles. Yeah. You've got a lot of people making their GBM debuts. What you know, how big an event is this for Shaquille and his career, and even these fighters that are making their GBM?
I know Shaq's been on Frank Warren shows, on Matchroom shows, on boxer shows, and you know, he's just struggled to sort of find that home. And I think with Izzy and GBM, he can be almost like the centerpiece. He can be the main guy, and I think that's really exciting for a young fighter who maybe has been a little bit lost in the wilderness. He's obviously very talented. He's 11-0 with 7 knockouts. He's a big, awkward, dangerous southpaw, and probably the hardest thing we're going to have to do is to match him, because no one's really going to want to fight him. He's a very, very hard night's work for anybody, I think. And but I really like Shaq Thompson. I like him out of the ring. I think he's a really lovely guy. You know, he's got a full-time job as well. It's a tough business. So very excited about Shaq sort of spearheading it. Brilliant to have a women's fight on for the Commonwealth flyweight title. It's great, Nicola and Gemma. I'm a massive advocate of female boxing, as I'm sure you know, and so that's brilliant for me. Hughie Fury coming back out of the wilderness, 3 years away. That's tough for any fighter, but Hughie wants to become a world heavyweight champion. Very, very closely he did back in his youth. Now he's still just 29, and Peter and him have taken their time. They've got him right, they've got him ready. Now they need to get him active. 3, 4, 5 fights. Maybe they can get him into that British mix with Fabio and Fraser, or even further into Turkey's big, you know, mix of heavyweights out there. So if you're a heavyweight, as my guy alongside me, Arlo, is, you know, you're in the right division, aren't you? That's where we want to be, the knockouts, the glamour, the money. So yeah, I think it's great to have Hughie back on the GBM platform. We're very fortunate to have Hughie. I know he's fighting on a boxer show in a few weeks' time as well. So for Hughie, it's about keeping momentum, but he adds something big to the card, of course. And then there's a huge amount of young prospects coming through from, you know, throughout the card. But I think the two I've got my eye on more than anybody are the 2 Irish kids. So you know, Kieran and Tyron will be fantastic, but Harvey Lambert as well, and many others. It's going to be a great night.
What first caught your eye about Kieran Malloy?
That's a really good question. I love fighters who've been fighting since they were really young, and they've got a massive pedigree as a youth, as an amateur, and you know, I'm very good friends with Katie Taylor, and she fought from 11, and you know, Kieran's been around a long time. You know, he's had over 200 fights as an amateur. He's got some big wins in there as well. And when he turned over with Top Rank, it was on the Catchwell Taylor night, and you know, I commentated on him first off, and I just thought, wow, there's someone to really look out for. And then I sort of lost track of him. I didn't know what happened to him. Then I got ill, and obviously he continued fighting. And when Izzy told me we're signing Kieran Malloy, I was like, wow, okay, I want to go to Galway. I want to be one of those thousands that love him, and you know, I want to try and make both Tyron and Kieran into big stars, because I believe they've got the pedigree, the talent. They just need the platform, and they need the storytelling. So I'll help them all the way.
And obviously, you know, they're in the early stages of their career. It's the same for GBM. How beneficial is it for them that, you know, to rise at the same time as the promotional company?
So that's all once again.
So obviously, both Irish fighters you mentioned, are both quite early on in their careers, and it's the same for GBM.
Yes.
How beneficial is it for them to, you know, rise at the same time as?
Absolutely right. It's a great question. I think it's really important, because I think there's, you know, promotional stablemates. There's some momentum. People get together. I think they see GBM, and in the beginning it was like, okay, what's GBM? What's Izzy? You know, then he was putting on sort of good fights, good cards. Now he's signing real quality fighters, and when fighters see that, they think, hello, something's happening here, right? They're on TalkSport YouTube. Maybe he's going to get a bigger broadcasting deal. Something's happening here, and it's a small world like that. And fighters look out for each other, even though there's some rivals out there. They look out for each other. So I think the fact that the two of them are going together, we can really build them alongside each other. It's a fantastic thing. So for them, I think it's good. For GBM, it's brilliant, and I think for the fans, it's going to be fantastic. So Ireland, watch out. I love Ireland, and I love Irish boxing. So I cannot wait to do a big show over there, and it will not be long.
No, the Irish fans there's something else, aren't there?
There's something else. I holiday every year in West Cork, in the middle of nowhere, in the countryside. It's brilliant down there, and they all talk KT. They talk boxing. They love sport. They love their Murphys, their Guinness, and they love their sport, and they love their crack, the Irish, and I absolutely adore it. If I lived anywhere else apart from London in the world, it would be over somewhere around Cork. I think it's a great part of the world, but I'm looking forward to going to Galway, because I hear it's pretty spectacular when Kieran Malloy fights in Galway. So I just want any seat. I don't care if I'm in the back. I just want to be in that arena when it happens. So yeah, we're going to look to be coming to Ireland, hopefully for a summer spectacular.
And just finally, while I've got you, Adam, I've got to mention the big Matchroom versus Queensbury 5v5. What do you make of the card, and two of the biggest promoters in the world coming together? How beneficial for the sport is this?
I was swapping messages with Frank Smith and Eddie yesterday. I talked to George Warren on the phone. I have huge respect and admiration for both Queensbury and Matchroom. Obviously, I worked closely with Matchroom over the years, but yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great idea. It's more entertainment. It's just brilliant, and yeah, I think it's wonderful for the fighters, wonderful for the fans, and it's great. You never have thought that Frank and Eddie would be working together if you wound down the clock 2-3 years, but Turkey's making magic happen out in Saudi. They're great events. I've been fortunate enough to be out there and enjoy them, and yeah, bring on Fury Usyk, bring on June the 1st. Bivol Beterbiev is an amazing fight, one for the history books, and then you got 5v5, and there's going to be a lot of fun with that and some serious fights. So yeah, can't wait.
Just while I've got you as well, we ought to do some quick fire predictions for the fights on the 5v5.
Oh wow, okay.
So starting with the main event, Bivol versus Beterbiev.
I'm going to go Bivol.
And then we've got Dubois Hrgovic.
I mean, he's not going to be very nice to me, and he's a tough guy, and he's not a guy you want to meet on a street corner, but I'm going to go against Filip Hrgovic. I'm going to go for DDD.
And then we've got Rayford, Nick Ball.
Good fight, really good fight. I mean, Nick was unlucky out in Saudi. He's got a fantastic style. I'm a big admirer. He's a Scouser too. But I like Rayford. I think he's very, very good, and Brian Peters has him, and Eddie, and I'm going with Ray. I think just about on that. Great fight.
Yeah, he's a quality operator. One of Izzy's favourite fighters, Hamza Shirazi, is going up against Amo Williams. What's your prediction for that one?
Yeah, I mean, I was asked yesterday about who's going to win, and I think I just edged Matchroom, but I think this is a win for Queensbury. I like Hamza Shiraz. I think he's a very, very good fighter, and I think this could be the beginning of his star really shining.
And then you've got Wilder versus Zhang.
And it's wild, isn't it? I mean, who'd have thought he'd be captaining a Matchroom team? I mean, the conversations that I had with Eddie back in the day, and Shelley Finkel and Deontay, you never know in boxing. You never, ever know. On last performances, I mean, Gilles went to sleep after 4 or 5 rounds when he was beating Joseph Parker, and Deontay never showed up, and Parker was brilliant against him. So I think Joe Parker's the best guy to ask about that fight, but I'll go with my man. I'll go with the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder, on that one.
I think I have to agree with you, if I'm being honest. I should be impartial, but I have to agree with you. Willie Hutchinson. Oh, definitely. We've got one more. Willie Hutchinson, Craig Richards.
Again, a really good fight, but I'm going to go with the Spider. I'm going to go with Craig. I think, I think he's in a really good training camp now, and I think he's going to shine that night. It's a good fight again. All good fights.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But Adam, thank you for your time. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And
well
done with your work in the NHS
as well. Appreciate that. Cheers.